Hello and welcome to the Busy to Bankable Masterclass. I am so excited to be here. This particular topic is very near and dear to my heart because I lived this and had a lot of realizations about it that I'm going to talk about today. And I'm really keen these days on being sure that you do not make some of the same mistakes that I made. And obviously, I want to help you move through your journey a little bit faster than I was able to move through mine so you don't have to make some of the mistakes that I made. And so the point and the purpose of today's masterclass is to help you go from maybe a business that's keeping you busy to one that is bankable, that makes you money without you having to put in more hours. And specifically, a lot of creative businesses, myself included, that I see have some of these same common problems that we are going to talk about today. And so that's why I wanted to really bring this conversation forward because I do see a lot of patterns here. And there are some simple fixes that can help us elevate out of the hustle mode that I found a lot of creative businesses stuck in, myself included, into a more scalable model. A lot of people think that handmaids, that creative businesses, that service-based businesses that require a time for money, time for effort model can't be scaled. And that's not entirely true. We just have to adapt, develop, and define a structure that supports not only our talents, but also our goals, supports our freedom lifestyle, supports what it is that's important to us. And so let's jump in. We are going to do a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will get to them later. Stick around. You can unmute yourself. We can chat and I'll answer any questions that you have. And I really want to kind of pop things off tonight, if you will, by asking you a question. If you disappeared from your business for a week, for 2 weeks, would your revenue continue or would everything come to a screeching halt? Let me know in the comments. I think for most creative businesses, if you step away from business, the revenue stops. The money stops flowing. Yes, everything would stop. That's the reality for a lot of creative businesses. And I want to preface this by saying, if you're beginning in your business, if you're first starting out, it's not a terrible way to start by expanding your labor, right? It's not a bad way to start to hustle short term for a project to get your bearings about you, decide what you want to do, what you want to make. But as a business model, more input in order to make more money leads to burnout. I see this with handmade businesses. I see this with service providers. I see this with people, especially who take custom work requests, graphic designers, artists. There are, the starving artist personas, which I do not identify with, and I hope you don't either. And there's the artists who charge millions of dollars for paintings. That's maybe some people look at and can't even understand what the context is or what it's about, right? Because especially creative businesses, especially art, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So while we are growing and scaling our business, if you've been in my world for a while, you know that I believe 100% unequivocally that it is super important to also be growing ourselves alongside of this, because what we believe we are capable of, what we believe is for us, is usually what we get. And I actually think that more people get what they ask for than would care to admit it, because what we ask for is not always what we want. And one way that I see this happen in creative businesses is we say we want to grow a business, and we do so by putting in as many hours as humanly possible, working these hands as hard as these hands can work until we can't work anymore. And then we can't make any more money. And then our business can't grow. And then if we do that for long enough, if we uphold that stamina for long enough, eventually we crash. And I don't want that to happen for your business, because I see a lot of creative entrepreneurs give up at that exact moment. that is where they quit. That is where they close their business altogether because they are sick of trading time for money. Now, if you know me, you know I do still have a creative business. I have adopted and grown several creative businesses over the years, but I still run one. And the reason that I do that, even though it still is a trade time for money model, is because I have grown it, designed it, and scaled it to a point where I sell a higher ticket item. It requires less of my time in order to produce a finished product. And I've refined my process so tightly that everything is really tight and compact. I've dialed into my ideal buyer so explicitly that marketing to them is easy peasy. And I have grown other assets, right? Not products that I produce, but assets that I've created that I can create once and sell over and over. And so there are multiple ways to bring a creative business together where it can both fulfill you and fill your pockets. And that is what I want for you. Most creative and talented entrepreneurs accidentally build businesses that just require them to do it all. And in the long run, that model sucks. It's good when you start because you have to do it all and you have to learn. But once you've done it, once you've made a little money, and maybe you've burnt out as a result of working that model, I know I did, then we have to decide. We have to scale. And when we scale, we have to build differently. So if you know my story, you know that I was a teen mom who had a lot of pressure put upon me to make money. And so I graduated high school, I went to college, I got a degree and I got a job in a law firm and I wanted to be a paralegal. I got a paralegal certification and I went to work. And in my world, success equaled money. And so I was making money, I was supporting me and this baby, and therefore I was successful. Life was good. We had money. We were able to sustain, but we never had extra. We never had more than enough. We always struggled. We always had to make choices. And so 14 or so years, 13 or so years into the job, I started to get kind of sick of it. Now, I had always been entrepreneurial. Even as a kid, I was selling crafts on, Friday night at the bowling alley. My parents bowled in a league. And I was giving handmade gifts and shopping thrift stores and garage sales. And I was always interested in business, even though I always thought I never wanted a traditional business. Life is funny like that. But even at 18, I had my first fitness company. I was in several network marketing companies throughout the years. I mean, all in, going to the conventions, getting the books, doing the whole thing. And you know what? That personal development really set me on a great foundation because when I was sick of my job, when things had changed and evolved to the point where I was no longer fulfilled, I was craving more and I could not ignore it another second. I started to think, what else is out there? What else is possible for me? And the day that I lost my paralegal job was the day that I decided I'm going to go all in on me. I know what this looks like. I know what a corporate career looks like. A few more dollars, 3% more a year. Health insurance, that's terrible, actually. And what? And it's not to say that that is a bad thing or that that isn't enough. But for me, I knew there was more. And so I had actually gotten a Cricut the Christmas before. And I had some family members who had some milestone moments. So I made handmade gifts for them. And it got me back into creating the way that I did when I was a kid, freely for fun. And that actually got me excited. It sort of relit that flame in me. That paired with my desire for more made me think, could I make money at this? Could I have a business for myself doing this? My handmade gifts were well received, word spread, and before you know it, I'm getting custom requests and releasing my own collection. This was the most exciting thing for me and the most terrifying thing for me because I had to entirely redefine my definition of success. In the beginning, I wasn't making the kind of money that I was making as a paralegal. And so was I successful? Like there was a tremendous amount of questioning my beliefs and growing, expanding my beliefs around a lot of things that I think helped me to get to that point in my journey. And again, you never know why you've gone through all the things that you've gone through, why you've stacked all the experiences in your life that you have up until this point. But I truly believe that each of them has a lesson or a win for us. And so looking at all of, the idea of going back to work or the idea of really trying to go all in on myself, I decided to give it a go. And I replaced my salary after a short while. This was incredible. This was also another terrifying moment. And the reason it was a terrifying moment was because I had grown my business exactly as quickly as I could work. It was incredible. I also was late for Christmas Eve dinner that first year. If you've ever worked a handmade business at the holidays, you know it can be bananas. And that first Christmas, where my business was really going and really taking off, there was a newness and a funness about it. I was taking orders for anything and everything because I didn't know what I was good at and I didn't know what I loved to create. And it was amazing and it was profitable and it was exhausting. And I was totally late for Christmas Eve dinner because I took on more than I could handle and I didn't work as fast as I could. And taking on additional projects slows you down. And so I realized that this hustle mode, this like work as hard as you could work, that wasn't the dream either, actually. And it's funny because you'll hear people often say, I traded my 9 to 5 job for a 24/7 business. And again, in the beginning, my friend, all in for that. Go hard, stay up all night, perfect your craft, learn what you love. But once you've made some money for yourself, once you've gotten some of those answers, a little bit more clarity about what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you really want to do, like what is your zone of excellence? What is your zone of genius? Like, how can you help people, transform people, make an impact in people's lives, provide beautiful things, experiences? Like, once you have some data there because you've been at it a while, things have to shift. Otherwise, your business starts leaking all over the place. Drip, drip, drip. We have to look at the structure and the leaks. And going through this myself forced me to do that. I created 3 businesses like that. I'm a little slow to learn lessons sometimes. And so the first time I thought maybe it was me. Maybe it was because I was taking orders for everything and anything. Maybe it was because my brain can talk me in and out of all kinds of things, right? The second business that I created was more profitable and wonderful, but I was not in complete control of it. And that ended up being the demise. The third iteration of my handmade business scaled beautifully, but I got bored with it. And so I knew that I needed to find some kind of balance. And when I looked at other creative businesses, clients that I work with, a lot of creative businesses have the same leaks. So let's talk about them. The first leak that I see in most businesses is the one we just discussed, the effort trap. You work and work and work and work and work until you can't work anymore. And because you can't work anymore, because you're out of hours in the day, you can't make any more money. And that sucks. So this is when you're heavy on customs. This is when you are service-based and you provide like hands-on work or service. This is can be true for graphic designers. This can be true for, bakers and cookiers and um, a lot of us work with our hands, and I love that. I love to help you take your talent and turn that into income. But we can't build it on a hustle model. Again, if you're just starting, hustle your way to clarity, not to dollars. Figure out what it is that you like. And then once you do, we have to scale out of the hustle model in order to get bankable. Okay, it is. It's a great way to start. But once you're there, once you've made a little money, you got to diagnose and you got to get to the fixing. Okay, number two, leak number two that I see all the time is the offer chaos leak. This looks like too many products, too many services, selling all the things all the time. Every week it's a new thing. My friend, this weekend's your positioning. You might think my offer isn't selling, I need a new one. But this just confuses your buyers. Your buyers who came to you last holiday for this thing, they don't even know if you're selling that because you're not talking about it. Your buyers don't know if you're still open for business because you're talking about a completely different thing than you were talking about the last time they saw you on the internet streets, which may have been yesterday, it may have been a month ago, right? This looks like you're busy changing gears every 5 minutes. You're confused, your buyer's confused. You can't organize things in your social spaces so that people know what they can buy from you and how to buy it from you. Like that's a big one too. Don't make it hard for people to buy, but if every week you have a new thing for sale, well, how do they buy this thing this week? Right? So this is like an all over the place kind of model, and it's ripe for chaos. It's totally, totally ripe for chaos. Now, again, when you first start, feel free to take on all the ideas. Feel free to try all the things. Feel free to go in different directions to see what you're feeling in your heart, what you like to do, what you hate to do. That was the biggest selling point for me, if you will, when people came to me and said, "Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that?" For me, I was like, challenge accepted. Can I? Do I want to? Creative people can do lots of things. And often this is another leak. There are so many offers. Let's throw it in the offer chaos bucket. I could do anything. I could do this. I could do that. I'm pretty good at this. I make pretty good that's, right? There's a lot of things you could create and sell. Which one do you choose? Which one do you go all in on? And then if you do and it doesn't immediately land, if it doesn't immediately convert, you're ready to abandon it. Try something else. Oh no, eek, abandon ship. What happened? What did I do? Should I do something else? The overthinking loop. That paired with the offer chaos loop, immediate disaster, right? Like the battleship is sunk. So we can't land and live in the offer chaos loop any more than we can, be leaking effort all over the place and simply putting in more time in order to make more money. Revenue loves focus, my friends. So let's get focused. Leak number three is your offer isn't selling. So let's have a little fun. Let me know in the comments. My offer isn't selling. What's the fix? If you're selling something and it's not selling, you're not immediately getting the results that you desire, or you have not yet gotten the results that you desire. Let me know in the comments, what would you do right now? I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know. What most people do is leak number three, the structural blind spot leak. They see an offer that isn't working the way that they wanted to, isn't selling the way that they wanted to, isn't landing for people the way that they want it to. And they think, I need to do more. I need to do more. See, leak number two is the offer isn't working. I need a new offer. Hands up if you've ever been there. Leak number three is my offer isn't selling. Let me do more. Let me create more content. Let me do more marketing. Let me go pay for ads. Let me hustle more. Let me go buy followers. Let me go get new customers. More, more, more. But more of the same equals an endless loop between busy and broke. I know. I know. I know because I was there and I want to help you, my friend. It sucks, but logically, it makes sense in the moment, right? I'm not getting the results I desire. So, what does the brain think? Let me do more. Let me do more. Let me create more offers. Let me change things up. Let me try something new. Let me go create more content. Let me go let me go spend money on that. Let's go do more things. And that's not always the solution. Because if the goal is to have more without necessarily doing more, then the natural answer is to be more. We upgrade our identity as we upgrade the framework of our business. And this is where I would love to introduce you to the fix. Now that you have seen where your business may or may not be leaking and where you may be losing money out of those leaks, let's fix it. You down to fix it? Let's go. I want to introduce to you the revenue reset framework. This is my 4-step framework that is going to help you plug those leaks and get more profitable without having to put more time into your business. So step one, if number one, let's back up a second. If you're feeling this, if you have resonated with some of those leaks, if I mentioned some of those leaks and you're like, oof, oof, oof. Yes, I have done that in my business. Yes, I am doing that in my business. Grab a pen and paper because now that we have identified the problem, I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Okay. So the revenue reset framework is the 4-step fix, and it's pretty simple for you to walk through, but I'm going to need you to get going and I'm going to need you to get real. Okay. Step one, we are going to identify your revenue driver. This means I want you to look at what you're selling. I want you to look at your assets. I want you to look at what you like to do. I want you to look at what you're selling that you don't like to do. I want you to look at the things that are making you money and the things that aren't making you money. And if you have an offer that's not currently selling, look at the things that you've sold in the past that did make you money and you like doing. Any of the things that you don't like to sell, you don't like to create, you don't like to talk about, you don't like to do, but you have done in the past because you know it makes that cash. This is not that. Okay, forget about that. This is about really understanding where your talents, where your genius makes you money in your business. Okay? Like, is it making you money? Has it made you money? Can it make you money? Pretty easy, right? If you think about it. But it does require us to get a little real with ourselves to decide if we are doing the things because they're easy or because they're doing the things because we want to, we love to, and they have the ability, opportunity to drive us forward in our goals and dreams. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the chat and we will go through them, I promise. Step two. Now that we have this bit of clarity, we are going to eliminate any other noise that's out there. Okay. This is super important. Super important. Okay. Because it's time to look at like what you want to be known for and get real. We mentioned that you can do a lot of different things. So what do you want to do? Silence the noise. What do you want to do? Okay. When we decide this, we can look at your level of authority and your messaging. But before we can even get there, what do you want to do? We have to eliminate the noise. We have to decide what you want to do. And we have to make sure that what you're selling is in demand and priced accordingly. Okay. But again, get real. Do you want to do what you're doing? Or do you just not know what else to do with yourself? Like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to talk about? If you could get up on stage right now, what do you want to say? This is super helpful also, side note, when you're talking to your ideal client. Because when you, instead of think about what you want to say and decide, realize, understand what your ideal client needs to hear, your content becomes super easy for another masterclass. So step two, get super duper clear, eliminate the noise. Okay. Step one was about the assessment. Like these are all the options. Okay. Start narrowing them down, put them in buckets. Step 2, get really clear on what you want. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to sell? Step 3, rebuild this for leverage. Now that we know exactly what it is you want to do, let's build it into a business model that is bankable. It doesn't just keep you busy hustling with your hands, but makes you money. Okay, this is where we look at how the attention that you put in equals the paying clients on the back end. Okay, that's where it's at. Okay, and this is where we really refine your pricing. So now that you know what you want to be known for and what you want to sell, it's time to price it accordingly. It's time to price it properly. Not like what will people pay, not what's the bare minimum this will cost me, but what is the value of what you provide to the marketplace? It's a very different conversation than like cost of supplies times 3. It's how though we restructure to be bankable. And now this doesn't just mean like raise your prices to crazy prices. That's not what this is about. This is about building an offer suite, simplified offers that are at the correct price for the value you create. Maybe we need a quick note on value. Can you or can you not go to Walmart and buy a pocketbook, a handbag, a wallet? Can you or can you not go into Saks Fifth Avenue and buy a pocketbook, a wallet? Can you not go into the dollar store and buy a pair of gloves or shampoo? Can you not go into Sephora and buy shampoo? Okay, not all things are created equally. Your talent, your expertise, the value and transformation that you provide for your clients is why you get paid. The problem with this thinking, or the block, I should say, that many creative entrepreneurs have, is that we're used to trading time for money. We're used to equating in a per dollar an hour model to our time. And so we think, who am I to charge that? But the same way you can go into Home Goods and buy a piece of art for $19.99, and you can go to an auction at Christie's in New York City and buy a piece of art for $3 million. It's the value, it's the transformation, it's what the beauty it brings to your life, the ease, the function, the uniqueness, the feeling. All of that goes into value. Okay, so step 3 is about looking at your simplified offer that lights you up, makes you excited, and you can deliver like within your zone of genius, and being sure that they are priced to match the value that they provide. Okay. This is also where we start to introduce scalable assets. So if you have a product-based business or a service-based business where you trade time for money, you create products to sell, you do one-to-one sessions, or, basically you work with clients directly. This is where we begin to introduce scalable assets. You don't have to give that up. You're allowed to do the things you love to do. I still do the things that I love to do. It's just not the primary revenue driver of my business anymore. It's the secondary one. It allows me to have fun, to be creative, to do things I love to do, to work with the public, to get out there and make money that supports me and my lifestyle. You don't have to have one or the other. You get to have both. Okay. I'm here to tell you that. And I'm living proof of that. So if you need to borrow my belief, come on over. I've got plenty of it. You can have it. So this looks like, doing the work once and getting paid over and over again. So there's a ton of different ways that you can do this. And I've yet to find a business or a business model, a service or a product where scalable assets were not possible. So challenge accepted. If you're like, I don't see how my business could, well, step right up because I think it can. All right, step 4. You taking notes here? This is how you fix your problems. Step 4, we are going to look at all these things and create a new revenue cycle. We're going to figure out how to take the thing that you love to do at the right price, build it up into a suite where it can make you time without you having to work harder. And you get to take clients and do the things that you love to build this beautiful ecosystem that is your business. And we're going to take that and we're going to pair it with your visibility strategy and your conversion strategy. A lot of people will tell you, attract, nurture, convert. I love that. It takes a while. I'm not a patient person. What I like to do is attract, convert, and nurture. And so that's the model that I teach. And basically, what that looks like is focusing on your revenue driver, eliminating the noise, pricing appropriately, and then building this all together into a marketing strategy that you can sell over and over again. So your business goes from busy to bankable. Are you with me? Basically, you're finding your leaks and you're plugging them. It's what we've been talking about the entire time. Let's recap. So far, I have identified the 3 most popular leaks that I see in most creative businesses, places where we are losing money, leaving money on the table, if you will. And then I have helped you, I've given you the revenue reset framework, which is my 4-step system, to fix it, right? When you do, your marketing gets clearer. It's easier for you to show up and sell. Your pricing becomes better. Your income becomes more predictable. Your business grows. The friction is minimized because before you really want to grow your business and you really want to make money, but you really don't want to work anymore, right? Raise your hand if you've been there. Been there. I love my business and I'm not afraid to work hard. Please don't think that's what I'm saying. I love a good hustle strategy. Short term, short burst for the project, for the period, for the holiday. But the rest of the time, man, life is crazy enough. I cannot have this roller coaster business. I need to be able to rely on my revenue. I need to be able to schedule my life and not have to worry about my business or erupting or dragging me away. And that's the business that I want for you as well. So let me know if you have any questions with the leaks or the model to fix it. Again, I'm sticking around at the end here for Q&A. So once we have this, we have the difference between a busy business and a bankable one. And I think I've demonstrated through my own life, as well as through the framework, really what that looks like. And so this is where some people think they have a motivation problem. You don't. Some people think they have a consistency problem. Like, I know I was told if you show up consistently on social media, your business will grow. And I did not exactly find that to be true. I showed up and showed up and showed up, and creating content did not always come super easy to me. I really had to work to put a framework and a structure in place. And I really didn't identify as a content creator. Like, I didn't see myself as a content creator. I saw myself as a businesswoman who creates content to grow her business. This was not a motivation problem. This was not a consistency problem. This was a business model problem because, like me, you have been taught to add more, do more, create more, sell more, show up in more places, add another platform, go someplace else, create your own thing, do this, try that. But what actually creates revenue? Clear offers, clear messaging, clean prices, and a model that converts so you can simply sell every single week. Some of you will take this framework, implement it, and grow your business. Please go do that. Please. If you want to move a little faster, I have created something for you. I have created the Revenue Lab because I see this over and over again. Smart women working really, really hard, doing all the things and not growing. And so the Revenue Lab is a 6-week experience where we go through exactly this in depth. We deep dive exactly into identifying where your revenue is leaking. We look at simplifying your offers. We fix your pricing model and we install a weekly sales rhythm that gets you paid. This is for you if you are busy and not being paid. This is for you if you have multiple offers, but you don't exactly know what your revenue driver is. You don't really know what the clear path is. This is for you if you're tired of guessing what your next move is. This is for you if you are ready to stop working as hard as you possibly can and grow a business that supports your lifestyle. And in addition to this 6-week program where you get me in a group with calls and my structure and my framework where we look at your entire business to figure out what's working for you, what is not working for you, and exactly what to focus on so that you get paid. I'm also including my capacity reset Get Gutsy. Get Gutsy is a program that has been around for a while, but the purpose of me including it here with the Revenue Lab is so that you can increase your own capacity for having as you grow your business. You know that I am a very big fan of infusing energy with strategy to equal success. And so that you can hold higher prices, so that you can make faster decisions, so that you can stop second guessing yourself. Those are the reasons that we kind of upgrade our identity capacity, that we step into our next level self so that we can grow our next level business. The investment here is $9.97, and I want to invite you to hop on over to my website and check it out because there are very attractive payment plans available as well. We are going to begin on April 13th. And you are going to get access to Get Gutsy, the capacity reset in the meantime, so that you can really dig into some of those core beliefs that we talked about, your ability to believe what's possible for you and really help you adapt to and step into that new pricing identity. And this is the founding rate, and it's a small group. I'm keeping it small intentionally because I want it to be incredibly hands-on. I want you to feel like you and your business are being held completely through this. And I want you to know that this is a space that's safe for you to grow yourself and your business. So if this is for you, if you feel like this is for you, let me know in the comments if you would like the link. I will drop it in the comments after I get off here. And I want to stick around for Q&A as well and make sure that everyone's questions gets answered. I know I threw a lot at you, helping you identify these leaks and giving you the framework to fix it. So let's dive right in.